Hey guys, welcome to Troy Time. Hey, check it out. I'm super excited today. I'm going to talk to you today about solar power, okay? It's one of my favorite topics. I got goosebumps. I'm going to give you some awesome information, okay? I'm going to give you some solar secrets that nobody's putting out there. Nobody's telling you this. I'm going to show you how to live like a king with a tiny little solar system, okay? A small one. No one's putting this information out there. We're going to give it to you next. We're going to give you an awesome definitive summary of what different solar systems can do, and that's coming up next. So stay tuned. Watch this whole video. It's going to be good. Okay, guys, I love solar power. I really do. But I love a tiny little niche of solar power, okay? Let me explain. I don't love solar power because I'm trying to save the environment. I don't love solar power because I'm trying to save money on my electric bills over 20 years. I love solar power because I'm trying to save your butt during an emergency, okay? When things get bad, I want people to be living in the 21st century still, okay? Without solar power, if there's an emergency that lasts a month or so with no power, no internet, people are going to be living like it's 1800s. They're going to be staring in the dark, staring at candles, okay? I don't want that. I want people to have a good quality of life. You can do so much with a tiny little solar system if you just know the right devices to use, okay? The secret to living like a king with a tiny little, or queen, with a tiny little amount of power is that you use the specific low power devices, okay? I'm going to show you a bunch of them. I've talked about a couple of them, but I've never expressed the fact that it's a cohesive system of using a bunch of them to really improve your quality of life for an emergency, okay? Okay, so let me put this a slightly different way so that I'm clear, okay? So oftentimes I'm talking with people and I'm advocating, as I do, for, hey, you know, a 100-watt solar panel is a super great thing to have, and, you know, just an entry-level solar generator can do a ton of stuff. And then they'll respond, which is fine because most people don't understand solar stuff. Well, can it run my furnace? And the answer is no. And then they say, well, can it run my big screen TV? And the answer is probably for an hour, maybe an hour and a half, right? And so they're like, well, if it can't do that, what good is it? So this video and others is a response to that very question because it can do amazing things, right? A tiny little system can do amazing things. You just have to have the right methodologies and the right low power devices. The key to living like a king or a queen with tiny little solar system is to have the right low power devices, okay? You're gonna hear me say that a ton. Using the right devices, you can do a ton of stuff. You can get your standard of living to that of someone in the 21st century when other people without power are back in the 1800s, okay? So that's the whole thrust of this. So in the example I just used, so can that system run your furnace? No. But if you ask, can it keep you warm? The root question behind that, the answer is yes. It can power 3 or 4 heating pads, nice heating pads, and keep 4 people warm in their beds at night for 8 hours overnight, right? So that's the root question behind the furnace is, can it keep you warm? You just have to choose a different methodology of keeping warm, okay? And it can keep you warm. With the big screen TV, I have a projector that only takes 7 watts. So even though that system might power that big screen TV for an hour and a half, it can power the projector, which has a larger screen than your big screen TV, for 36 hours. So all of a sudden it's like, ooh, that does sound like a very interesting system to have, doesn't it? Because it's like, it can do heating, it can do large screen TVs, right? It can do a lot of stuff. It's just you have to change up the way you think about your devices. Okay, that's the real key. It's low power devices that do amazing things. So that's sort of the thrust of what I'm trying to get at with all of this, okay? So I'm gonna walk sort of through like a definitive guide. I'm gonna talk about what USB batteries can do, what sort of mid-size, what I would consider laptop batteries can do, and then what an entry-level solar generator can do. And we'll show you those devices and how you can use them and how effective they can be. So that's what I'm trying to show in this video. So I hope that comes through. And the last thing I want to touch on is just how amazingly inexpensive these things are, okay? All the low power devices are inexpensive and the solar systems themselves are inexpensive, okay? So if you look at some of these other channels out there, when you're talking prepping and things like that, usually their answer when it comes to solar is something like this. Hey, this is an awesome solar generator. It's normally $7,500. Today only, you can get it for $5,000. Well, I think that's great. If you've got $5,000, hey, awesome. If you've got the subscribers that have that kind of money, by all means, get that. It's probably awesome, right? But I think 99.99% of people aren't going to pay that much money for a solar generator, right? I think I'm trying to show you stuff that's down around like the $75, $100, maybe up to $200 range. That's it, right? And devices that cost $5, $10, right? In the most expensive one I think is $20, right? So I'm trying to show just super inexpensive stuff that do amazing things, okay? And so my thrust is to get that out so that everybody can enjoy the benefits of having solar, especially in emergency situations, so that they can live in the current century, not get throttled back into like the 1800s, okay? The worst case scenario is sitting there with nothing, or sitting there in the dark, in silence, for a month at a time, staring at candles all night, okay? So all this stuff is going to be super inexpensive. It's going to be super effective. I'm going to break it up. I'm going to show you what USB batteries can do. I'm going to show you what sort of mid-level, like almost laptop power supply batteries can do. And then I'm going to show you what the entry-level solar generator can do, okay? And you're going to see that there's just a ton of things that it can do. You just have to view it through the right lens, which is using low-power devices. Okay guys, I really wanted to give everyone like a real solid visual so that you understand it like visually what these are. So I'm going to go through devices that you can run with just a USB battery. This is a typical 10,000 milliamp hour USB battery right here. I think this one is a 15,000 milliamp hour, but just any device, any USB battery, okay? You can run these devices, okay? Okay, there's a whole table full here. I'm gonna run through these really quick because I'm gonna have videos explaining all these, okay? And I've already got a couple of these out there. This is a TV tuner. This thing broadcasts to cell phones or tablets. This thing takes like 4 watts to run and it has its own battery, okay? This is a projector, right? It can run on low power USB power, or it can run on AC power. On USB power, it only pulls 7 watts, and you can run it with a USB battery. And it makes a screen size anywhere from like 80 to 100 inches, okay? It's huge, it's awesome. You can plug in video games to this, you can plug in all kinds of different stuff to this, okay? You can plug in like TV, like Fire Stick, Roku devices. It's just awesome. We'll have video on that as well. But it only uses 7 watts. A USB battery alone can power it for 5 hours. The entry-level solar generator can power that thing for 36 hours. It's freaking incredible, right? Okay, handheld games, right? DS, this is a Nintendo DS, DS Lite, right? Switch, you can power all that stuff with a USB battery. This is just a standalone sort of internet generic Nintendo clone or whatever. You can put this right into the big screen projector. This thing pulls less than 1 watt. You can run this and this for like 7.5 watts, okay? And make a huge screen, absolutely huge screen. It works out awesome. Same thing with the Switch. You can put the Switch into this projector and it's awesome. You can play games all night long, 36 hours with the solar generator, just an entry-level solar generator, okay? Then you've got cell phones. Obviously, you can do cell phones. This cell phone here, this is amazing. That cell phone pulls 1/4 watt when you listen to the radio. It has an FM radio, which is great, so you have an emergency radio built in. You can get these online for like $5 to $10, okay? It's got an emergency radio built back in, an FM radio in it. You can listen to music for 1/4 watt, and you can watch video files for 3/4 watt. So a USB battery will allow you to watch videos or play video games on this phone for 36 hours. A USB battery, right? It's amazing. So super low power, right? The other phone's very low power as well. Then you've got things like MP3 players or radios, just regular radios. Bluetooth speakers, obviously people know that USB batteries are powering those, okay? Then we get into our tablets, okay? Here we got some Fire tablets, right? Now what's awesome about the Fire tablets, you can load retro emulators on these things, and then you can use a Bluetooth controller with them. You can load retro emulators on the phones. It's just the old phones won't have the controllers. But these Fire tablets are awesome. They use very little power. They can interface to like a Bluetooth controller. You can play videos. You can capture the TV signals, a lot of them, from this little tuner over here. You can play your own standalone files. You can play apps that are on the phone. You can play all your retro emulators for like your Nintendo DS, Game Boy, Nintendo 64. Some of these can actually do Nintendo DS as well. So they're awesome. They just work awesome for entertainment purposes, right? So tons and tons of entertainment and videos and things like that can be done with USB power for very long amounts of time, okay? And then even further when you have another type of solar generator, be it the laptop style or the entry-level ones. Those just increase the run times on all this stuff, okay? Lighting, right? So let's talk lighting. USB lighting. You've got these little lights. These are awesome. I'm going to do a video on those. I call these my forever lights. You've got some other plug-style USB lights, lamp-style USB lights, and sort of standalone USB lights, okay? All those are powered by USB. They work great. They run super low wattage, half a watt, 1 watt, 2 watts, super low wattage. So they run forever. They run a long time on USB batteries, okay? Then you've got your mobile lights, right? You've got your headlamps, a couple different styles of headlamps, and flashlights, right? So all that would be super helpful during an emergency, okay? So those are just awesome. This is just some of the stuff, right? Getting into the environmental stuff, right? This heating pad right here, this is a USB heating pad. This thing works awesome. I have a video where I show using that in conjunction with some other stuff, but it's a USB heating pad. I think it pulls 7 watts on high and like 4 watts on medium, right? Or low, but it's awesome. I use that all the time. They can keep you warm in your bed overnight with a USB battery, okay? It's awesome. Then we talked about some of these adapters. I talked in one of my videos, we talked about this adapter set to give us 12 volts from USB and to give us AC from a USB battery, right? Check out the videos. I'll put a little link here above. From then you can run real fans. You can run this box fan here, okay? You can run this fan here, which is like a head neck fan, right? Which is awesome. You can run this big fan. This is a 10-inch fan, 10-inch box fan. This 10-inch box fan pulls 10 watts. You can run it with a USB battery. It's equivalent. Most people that have solar are running a 20-inch box fan, an AC box fan. They're so inefficient. This thing is equivalent to a 20-inch box fan on medium, and that pulls 60 watts. And this fan right here only pulls 10. So you're saving 50 watts every hour that you use this fan instead of the other one. This 10-inch box fan saves tons of energy compared to a 20-inch fan. We have a video showing and talking about that. This fan right here is great for a personal fan, okay? And not to be left out, and I don't have a real floor lamp here, but regular light bulbs and regular lamps can be run using USB batteries with this adapter set that I talk about in one of my other videos, okay? So you've got, let's review now. Using USB batteries, real lights, real fans, heating pads, headlamps, flashlights, USB lights, Fire Stick tablets, any tablets, game controllers, phones, radios, standalone games, handheld games, Bluetooth speakers, standalone games, projectors, and TV. That's what you get with USB battery, okay? Frickin' amazing, all right? That's just with USB batteries. A couple of these on the end are with the USB batteries and those adapters, okay? Okay, so let's take a moment now to talk about Tier 2, okay? Tier 2 is these, what I would consider almost like laptop batteries, okay? They're not exactly entry-level solar generators yet. A lot of them don't have the digital display. One of them does, but a lot of times you just get the little lights, right? Which is fine. They got the little lights on them instead of the digital display. A couple of them do have the digital display, but generally they run in the 100 watt range, maybe 100 to somewhere around 150 watts is what they'll hold, okay? These are good. These are good mid-level, okay? So they're sort of an in-between, intermediate step between your USB batteries and your actual solar generators, okay? So first thing to take note of on these is that they can do everything that we just went over for longer periods of time, okay? You actually have AC on these now. All of these have AC, so you don't need adapters to do the AC stuff that we just previously looked at. And they'll do all that stuff for longer, okay? Keep in mind, the USB batteries like this have about 36 watts. Each one holds about 36 watts. This one holds 36, this one holds 55. A 10 milliamp hour is about 36 watts. A 15 milliamp hour holds about 55, okay? These hold about 100, or to 150, so they're 2 to 3 times one of the other batteries, okay? Yeah, so that's these. So the main thing that you're picking up with these is now you have AC, you have real AC, okay? So what that's gonna do is environmentally now, you can run bigger heating pads, okay? One like this here that's got Finn here on it, because Finn loves this thing. Or one like this here, which is great. I love that heating pad as well. We talked about that in one of our other how to stay warm videos, okay? So you pick up heating pads, right? AC heating pads. You also pick up laptops, because that's basically what these were designed as, is a laptop power supply. And a super important one as well, you also pick up powered tools, battery powered tools, okay? So that's your Sawzall, that's your drill, that's your circular saw, right? Super important, right? If you're in some sort of emergency after a tornado, after a hurricane, now you can begin rebuilding or tearing down or fixing your fence or fixing your deck or whatever outside was damaged or boarding up other windows of your house that are broken and things like that. You've got power tools to do it, okay? So the main three sort of plus up when you go from the USB batteries to these intermediate size laptop batteries is you get your power tools, you get your laptops, you get your AC heating pads, and you pick up, AC without having an adapter. There's other things that y'all might use, but those are the three main things in my mind at this intermediate level. Okay, now let's talk about the third tier, okay? And this is where you want everyone to get to, where they can get to an entry-level solar generator, an actual entry-level solar generator. These usually have about 300 watts. I think one of these has 257. The other one might have 280, something like that. I'd have to look. But around the 300 mark, basically twice as big as the ones we just looked at in tier 2, okay? The main thing you get from, well, the first thing you get is longer usage time on all the other stuff we just talked about, obviously, okay? So it can do all that stuff. The main thing, though, that these, in my opinion, get you to, these get you in the game. This completes so that you can do everything. Now you're a player in the game. You can do all your categories, at least on some level. They can run an ice maker, okay? So this ice maker right here, this makes a pound of ice every hour, okay? And it basically gives you about 1 ice cube for 1 watt. That's basically the thing behind it. So now you've got cold drinks, right? You've also got ice that you can make for first aid purposes. You've also got ice that you can use with a cooler to have some sort of refrigeration. And you also have ice that you can put in a spritz bottle and spritz on you with a fan to get that evaporative effect, to get some really nice cooling. And then you can also just blow the fan over the ice and get cool air. So you get a much higher level of cooling, some refrigeration, and some first aid from your ice maker. So now that brings you into, you've got heating, you've got cooling, you've got entertainment, you've got functionality, utility, tools, laptops. I already talked about heating, lights, fans, mobile lights, stationary lights, fire tablets, controllers, phones, radios, game controllers, projectors, and TV. All, look at this. Look at this. This is what you can do with an entry-level system. And you can do some of it for a very, very, very long time. Okay? So I hope that you all understand what I'm trying to say is that when an emergency happens, having just a small solar generator, having something like this with a 100-watt panel is awesome. If you can't afford one of these out of the blocks, get the 100-watt panel and get a couple of these. Get a couple of USB batteries. You still have everything in this tier. Just running USB batteries until you can save up enough money to get one of those. And if you find a really good deal on one of these, then pick up one of these. And then you also get the heating, the laptop, and the tools, right? So one more time, I'll just go through and let you look. This is our tier for our USB battery. This is our tier for intermediate, what I will call laptop batteries. And this is our final tier for our entry-level solar generators. One of these things can totally change the game, right? Think of it, all this stuff on this table, you've got access to. You're gonna be able to charge one of these almost every day with a 100-watt panel. Almost every day you'll fill up one of these entry-level solar generators. So you have all this stuff on the table available to you, okay? Or you could have no solar and you could be sitting in the dark, in silence, looking at candles. Okay, that's kind of the thrust I'm trying to make. Your quality of life that having any of these will bring you is so much, and you can do it so inexpensively. And all the items on this table, all these low power items, mostly in this first tier, are super inexpensive. Okay? Super inexpensive. So yeah, so use your money wisely, get yourself whatever system you can afford that you're willing to put that money forth, and then you'll have easy living. Come time if there's an emergency, you'll have a method of having tons of electronics available to you that can help improve your life, okay? Sometimes, like with the heaters and stuff, it can help save your life, right? So super important. I hope that you've got some benefit out of this video. Let me know in the comments. There's nobody else telling you, hey, look how much this can do. There's nobody else talking about, these low power devices. Everyone's like, yeah, buy a $7,000 solar generator, or buy a $40,000 worth of solar panels to put on your roof. I'm saying spend either $75 to $200 and get yourself in the game. That's what I'm saying. So, Okay, guys, I just wanted to have a quick little addendum here, okay? Because I know what a lot of you are going to say. You're going to say, oh, what about gas generators? Or I don't need solar, I have a gas generator, okay? But please don't take that mentality. And I want to explain to you why. There are so many reasons why gasoline might not be available, okay? There's a plethora, okay? Gasoline is a very, very soft target, as is our power grid. You may not know this, but roughly 2 years ago, middle of winter, a Russian hacking group shut off the major pipeline. They cyber attack. They shut off the major pipeline that provides gasoline to the whole East Coast. They shut it down, and they demanded a ransom. I think it was either 2 million or 20 million. Might have been 200 million. I don't remember. But we paid it. We were helpless. Please turn it back on. We didn't fix the hack. We didn't catch the people. We just gave them the money. And so if they could do it once, they could do it again. And that's just one reason, right? Also events this is on the power grid, but there was people in North Carolina that there was like 2 or 3 people, maybe 4, that shot up transformers, substations, and outed the power to hundreds of thousands of people, just a few people out there with just rifles, small arms fire, shooting it at substations. And so they're just super soft targets, right? But especially back to the gasoline, unlike gasoline and oil, solar is that, my favorite word, man, self-sufficiency. With solar, you can be self-sufficient, right? It's just you and the sun. So unlike oil, right, your government's not going to ration sunshine. Your government's not going to cut off sunshine. Your government's not going to tax sunshine. Your events around the world, like people shooting rockets at tankers and supply chain issues and things like that, that's not going to affect sunshine, right? So many things, oil and gasoline are so vulnerable in so many different ways, on the supply chain, on the collection of it, on the taxing and the rationing of it, and pricing of it. It's just so it could be priced out of your reach, right? And how many people have, as far as running a gas generator, how many people have more than 1 week's worth of gas that they're storing? Not many, maybe a couple people in a homestead or something like that. But no one in where I live has more than a week's worth of gas supplied to run a gas generator for more than a week. So don't let having a gas generator stop you from getting solar. They work great together, okay? So the solar generator can help stretch your gas supply. So like you can use your generator for maybe 2/3 of the day and then use your solar generator to get by, maybe just lights at night or something like that, right? So it works great like that. And then the gas generator can really help when solar's not available. If the sun is down, you get very little sun energy. Maybe it's a completely rainy day or something like that. You still get a little, but if you don't have enough to get by, you can run your gasoline generator for an hour and fill up your batteries for your solar generator, and then still be good to go. So they complement each other very nicely. So don't let having a gas generator stop you from getting solar. So just realize that power is an extremely fragile, soft target, both from the electricity side and from the gas side. You want to have a solar system in place regardless of what you have elsewise. Okay, so please get a solar system. Get something cheap, whatever you can afford, whatever money you can put towards it. Get something to help you out. If there's an emergency, you'll really be happy that you did make that wise choice. Okay. Yeah. So just one last thing, please, guys, like this video, share this video, leave some comments down below. I want to try and get this word out to people. There's nothing self-serving in this video. I'm not selling these items. I'm not making a profit from any of this kind of stuff. I'm just trying to get the word out there. Let people know this stuff is available. Let people have an option to see that it's there so that they can get it and they can have some good quality of life, okay, should an emergency occur, okay? So please like this video, all my videos, but to help me out. But in particular, this video, let's get this message out there. Let people know that you can get by with a simple system, some simple items, and you can really have a good quality of life, okay? So I hope you do, and I hope this helps. This is Troy Time. I'm out.